Bienvenidos a la Deuces Wild Daily Hustle. Soy Enrique Byrnes y presidente de esa mejor cerveza. No Abate por No Filter Network. Miguelito San Dieguito not with us today. Will the Thrill Clark not with us today. But as you guys know, each and every single morning we come on here, we like to properly salute our boys, as well as our title sponsor, Car Shield, and each and every one of you. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! Remember this, folks. When we are juiceful, we are useful. And when we are juiceless, we are fucking useless. A very pleasant good morning to you on the 13th day of August, 2026. The Daily Hustle quote of the day. Priorities are revealed in actions. Let's make sure we act wisely. Very simply put there, think about what we're doing on a daily basis. Because what we are doing is what we are prioritizing. So no matter what it is that we're chasing in life, if that's a priority, that's something we need to be doing on a daily basis. So on that note, I am here rocking and rolling on the Daily Hustle this morning. Huge night tonight. And I've thought about doing an alternative broadcast for it. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get home in time as I'm playing pickleball in Reno today. But we have the Twins and the Phillies tonight from Dyersville, Iowa, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time on Netflix. Look, if you're Netflix, I'm really hoping you don't fuck this up. For whatever reason, and I don't know if you guys experience the same sort of thing, the audio on the Netflix streams have been dog shit. And so I think one of the things, and to capture the essence of Dyersville, Iowa, and of this game, the audio's got to be on point. So that's something that I'm going to be paying attention to. But whether it's the games that have been streamed on Apple or you have this one right here or whatever is on Netflix, my biggest issue, because the Thursday Night Football was the same way on Netflix. So hopefully they have figured their shit out on that and we'll be able to immerse ourselves in the broadcast and the experience. If you have not been to Field of Dreams in Dyersville, Iowa, you got to go. If you're a baseball fan, this is a slam dunk, no brainer. Don't even fucking think about it. Make the trip. I never thought this was something that I needed in my life. I love baseball. I played in the big leagues. I got to travel to all these different stadiums. Pretty cool. I never felt like it was like, oh, I need to go to Dyersville, Iowa to see Field of Dreams. Well, I did go there. I rode my bike from Oakland to Dyersville, Iowa. And never in my life have I experienced a place as majestic as Field of Dreams. It literally was a scene out of a movie. And you have the cornfields, you had, when we got there, you had the fog that was coming out of the cornfields, the sun was setting. It was just like, you can't make this shit up. And then you had random people just playing catch out there on the Field of Dreams. I had my family there. Biscuit was there. I guess he was, 6'7" at the time. And we went out and had a game of catch. And it was just so cool. Kowalski, who rode the last stretch into Dyersville, Iowa with me, was out on the field, bare feet, no glove. And there was actually like a dad and a son taking BP. And I don't remember the exact dimensions of this original park, but it wasn't crazy small. I don't know, maybe 250 to 300 feet out there to the corn maze. But Kowalski was running balls down fucking left and right, barehanding shit. It was really, really cool to watch. I went out there, shagged a few balls myself. Of course, we did the walk out of the corn and everything. So, anyhow, tonight you got the Twins and the Phillies. We'll have a little bit more on that game in a minute, but it got me thinking the other night when Thrill and I were on Deuces Wild about the best baseball movies of all time. And then, of course, if you think about the best, it also brings to mind the worst baseball movies of all time. So I've spent the past couple days tightening up my list of best and worst baseball movies of all time. On that note, here we go. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on both of them. The first one here, number 5 of the best baseball movies of all time, Field of Dreams. So you look at it, you had Ray Kinsella. He's the farmer, wasn't really into it. He's got these corn mazes. He doesn't know what to fucking do with them. Financially, he's getting killed. So, of course, he says, fuck it. Let's put a baseball field right here. He hears a voice that says, if you build it, he will come. And he's really not sure who the he is. And then just chaos ensues after that. He ends up hunting down, what was it, James Earl Jones, and that whole thing. Shoeless Joe Jackson appears in all of this. And then when it's all said and done, here he is on the field with his family having a catch with his pop. So a lot happening from a spiritual side, a lot happening from plot twists and everything else, somewhat of a mystery. Certainly a top 5 baseball movie. It comes in at number 5. Number 4, Major League. One of the greatest movies ever fucking made. From the struggling team that obviously was the Cleveland Indians to the fact that here's the owner, Rachel Phelps, tries to put together a team that is going to lose her X amount of games so she can move the team to Hawaii. And then there's Jake Taylor, right? The old crusty veteran. Then you have Dorn, who was a fucking piece of shit over at third base, who just, hey, I'm in it for the contract. Willie Mays Hayes. It's just everything about Major League. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You had the love story with Rene Russo, and you had the drama at the end with the Bond, and it's just, they fucking killed it. It was a comedy wrapped up with a little drama. Ultimately, Ricky Vaughn, the wild thing. I mean, come on, man. Charlie Sheen, California Penitentiary. I mean, it's just, yes, 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 yes. One of the greatest baseball movies of all time. Number 3, Bull Durham. Okay. Ron Shelton, who wrote this, was a minor league baseball player. And looking back on it now, of course he was. The Crash Davis, every one of these minor league teams had a Crash Davis sort of dude. The Nuke Lelouch, every one of these minor league teams had the Nuke Lelouch. So Susan Sarandon, the whole monologue she had at the beginning with the Church of Baseball, and then the love triangle with Nuke Lelouch and Crash Davis, playing in the minor leagues and seeing that movie and having that movie come out kind of around the same time I was in the minor leagues, just like, fuck, man, this is it. Yeah, this is it. And if you talk about what makes a great movie, it's relatable. There's a whole lot of truth amongst a fictional tale. I get it. But Ron Shelton, congratulations. Many would argue Bull Durham is the number 1 baseball movie. I would have no problem if you say that. I know that is Will's number 1. Number 2 on the list here, for a lot of the reasons Bull Durham is at number 3, 61. Real. Fucking real. Billy Crystal, Hank Steinberg was a writer in this, but Billy Crystal, he really made it his mission, and just lifelong Yankees fans, diehard baseball fan, he wanted to make sure he got it right. And the tale he tells of Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle and those guys going through that chase in 1961, just really a struggle. And it was the struggle for Maris because he didn't love the spotlight and he didn't really want all this extra attention, but he was a competitor and he was a baller. And so the rift between him and Mantle, which was a friendship, kind of turned into a rift, and then ultimately back into the friendship. It just showed you the dynamics of a locker room and how the one scene where it's like, everyone's rooting for Mickey. It's like, fuck, of course they are. And you just learn to appreciate, like I said, the different characters that you have. Mickey Mantle and the job that was done in playing Mickey was fucking fantastic. From the one-liners to what was it like? I like girls with small hands because it makes my dick look bigger. Like, this is all shit that really was said in a big league locker room, right? Like, these are all things, the way the guys were sitting around after and having their beers and then making up all fucked up one day. From getting, whatever. He's fucked up the night before. He's hung over the next day. And DiMaggio comes in. He's kind of like, hey, Joe, and then puking off into the thing. And, it's just, Joe's like, yeah, like, take care of yourself. It was so real that you really made it feel like it was almost a documentary as opposed to an actual movie. And then number one on the list, this hits home for me, might not be number one on other people's list, but this is the movie that made me love baseball. And when I walked out of the theater, I decided I was going to be a big leaguer, The Natural. I went to the Belmont Theater on the El Camino with my mom, and we saw like a 1 p.m. showing of The Natural. And then when we walked out of the theater, I remember walking to the street. I'm like, Mom, let's go again. Let's go again. And she's like, oh, all right. And we went right back in and watched it again. Now, the funny thing was that I was 9, and there was a lot of like, I don't know, kind of racy sort of shit that was in the movie, right? You had Roy Hobbs, who was the kid. His dad passes away, has the heart attack. The lightning strikes. The tree goes down. The kid makes the bat. The Wonder Boy bat becomes an absolute phenom. And then in the midst of this and about to get signed, and right before he takes off to go, he has this, intimate sort of encounter with his high school sweetheart or childhood sweetheart, whatever. But then he goes off and he's about to become this huge star. And then he gets fucking shot by some rando chick and then disappears for the next 20 years or whatever it is. And then comes back as this old dude who is signed to the New York Knights. And then you had Pop, who was the manager, and he's like, I'm not fucking playing this guy. And then you had that conflict there. Eventually, he plays and ends up being one of the greatest baseball players in the history of the sport. The ball, the lightning, just everything. And then in a similar situation as like Rachel Phelps, right? You had the Knights guy wanting to lose, which just a whole nother dynamic and twist to it. And he ends it with the eye and the thumb. And that just, I don't know. It's one of those, if I look back upon it now, was it the best movie? Yeah, probably not. But I think there were so many things in there, including, remember Glenn Close? So that was like the high school sweetheart later on. And then he ends up having, and he doesn't realize this, right? Because of the intimate encounter, like here comes this kid. And he's the kid goes to the game in Chicago, or the Glenn Close goes to the game and he hits the homer. In the meantime, you had, the other chick involved. It's just a lot going on, but I will forever hold a place in my heart for The Natural. So there it is. The top 5 baseball movies of all time. undisputable in my household. Field of Dreams at 5, Major League at 4, Bull Durham at 3, 61 at 2, and The Natural at number 1. Now, naturally, if I'm going to give you the 5 best baseball movies of all time, we got to give you the 5 worst. So, at number 5, we got a tie. Major League 2 and Major League Back to the Minors. You weren't going to follow Major League up. You just had no chance. That was a standalone movie. You should have let it fucking be. Instead, you went ahead and ruined it with Major League 2 and Major League Back to the Minors. So that's number 5. Number 4, Chasing 3000. Bernie Mac apparently had, what was it, 3 hits taken away 9 years later. So then he goes back, and he was an asshole when he played. He goes back and tries to get those 3 hits, and it's just fucking terrible, man. It's just not a good look. There's so many just inauthentic things that would have happened with this, including just them fucking letting Bernie Mac come back to try to chase those last 3 hits. Shitty, shitty, shitty movie. Number 3 on this list, and this one hits home. It's personal. Summer Catch. So the writer, the director came out. They followed my 1995 Cape Cod League team around that summer. And they got a lot of like little things right about the movie. Now, I get it. It's a movie. And they just followed us around to try to get some ideas and whatever. But you had Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jessica Biel. And did I like the movie? Yeah, fuck. I loved it, actually. And Jessica Biel, my goodness, in her prime. Yes, yes, yes. The issue was Summer Catch. And understand this. Billy Brubaker was a character in the movie. My roommate was Eric Brubaker from Pepperdine. Eric Brubaker assisted on that movie to help make sure they got a lot of the details right. Well, Billy Brubaker's character was more resemblant of me. And so you had Billy Brubaker who went to SC and not UCLA, but he was struggling and he wanted to go home. But then he met Dee Dee Mulligan and had the fucking time of his life. So he ends up staying. So all of this, like, was pretty real. Although her name wasn't Dee Dee, her name was Kristen. So on that note, it was just like, yes, yes, yes. Like, wow, they really nailed this. Now, we didn't burn down the clubhouse, and there were parties, though. And then Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character was loosely based after the local Cape Cod kid, who happened to be Peter Princey, who also happened to be one of my best friends. Now, Peter didn't play for the Chatham A's, though. He was in Hyannis. So all this said, what makes this one of the worst movies, baseball movies of all time? Freddie Prinze Jr. on the mound, pitching a no-hitter in the championship game, and he fucking walks away to try to prevent Jessica Biel from getting on a plane to go to Stanford. Holy shit, man. No, 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 no. Fuck no. No, no, no. No dude is ever going to leave the middle of a game in a championship game in a no-hitter. So that's what ruined it for me. Overall, though, nice work. It was fun to be a part of it. So that gets us to number 2. Moneyball. All right. Any movie that has me strike out at the very beginning and then get pinch hit for at the climax, I'm not fucking into. So people ask me all the time, how realistic is it? Look, very real. I remember sitting down with Paul D. Podesta and David Forrest and them talking about OPS and why that matters as opposed to batting average and all this other shit. They were very keen on getting on base, and they were very keen on extra base hits, the shit that mattered, and not getting caught stealing. So that's where we had a little conflict. But the thing about Moneyball is the same thing that everyone's brought up in the past fucking 20 years since this movie's been made. We were great because of Hudson, because of Mulder, because of Zito, and we won 20 consecutive games because of Corey Lytle. Double sky point to our dude. Corey Lytle was the best pitcher in that stretch. That story doesn't get told. Yes, the Hatteberg story is romantic. It's real. They certainly found value where other teams did not find value. But the other huge thing that totally gets dismissed is the camaraderie that we had with that group. You don't win fucking 20 consecutive games unless you got guys that are todo junto. So we'd go out on any given night to dinner, and we would have 23 out of 25 guys out. I just wish that they told that part of the story. Now, the rest of it's cool. And of course, like, I like it. But again, if we're ranking best baseball movies, sorry, too close to home for me. You fucked it up. Too much not real shit. Jeremy Giambi dancing after a loss in the locker room. That's fucking bullshit, man. You did him dirty. That's not right. I know Art Howe wasn't thrilled with the perception that was left to him. Someone did him dirty. So anyhow, I do appreciate the fact that this movie was made. I do think that it's cool. I like every now and again, I don't say going back and watching. I've watched it maybe twice in my life. Once a few years ago, actually with my kids. But you gotta drill the specifics or at least tell the story in some way accurately. And the entire story of what made that A's team great wasn't told. Now, sabermetrically and having a vision going forward of what the game was going to look like, yeah, it was revolutionary. There's certainly a lot of things that went on to transform baseball. And yeah, so Moneyball at number 2 as the second worst baseball movie of all time. I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback on that one. And that brings us to, drum roll please, the worst baseball movie in the history of movies and the history of the sport. The Fan. What a fucked up movie. Bobby Rayburn, Wesley Snipes. Then you had Gil, the psycho fan, Robert De Niro, who becomes obsessed with Rayburn. And then Rayburn had signed this big contract. This is somewhat based on Barry Bonds. It really was. And then he goes through the slump, and then Gil thinks that he's going to help him out of the slump, and they form this relationship, and it just goes wrong. And next thing you know, yeah, Gil fucking kidnaps Bobby Rayburn's kid. Look, stepping back now and looking at this, however many years later, by far and away, the worst baseball movie of all time. But, as far as horror flicks go, this is near the top of the list. Really. As someone who dealt with a stalker at one point, trust me, that's fucked up, dude. It really is. And so, going back and watching this, not that long ago, I was taken aback of how wild this was and how fucked up this was. And immediately when I watched it, I'm like, dude, the worst baseball movie of all time. Worst. Now, hey, the movie's actually gotten some love for being pretty creative and dark and everything else. But nonetheless, I mean, you think about it, especially how this movie ended, where the great baseball movies of all time end with what? The feel-good story, the father and the son playing catch. Field of Dreams, father and son playing catch. In The Natural. And in The Fan, it's son gets kidnapped. Gil's gonna kill everybody. I mean, just, oh shit! What the fuck is this? This does not get as much. I won't say hate's not the right word. This doesn't get as much like what was that movie sort of thing. So that is numero uno. So going back and revealing the 5 worst baseball movies of all time. Major League 2, Major League Back to the Minors at 5. Number 4, Chasing 3000. Number 3, Summer Catch. Number 2, Moneyball. And numero uno, The Fan. There it is. All right, so tonight we have the Twins Phillies Dyersville, Iowa. Let's get into it. Everything we need to know about this game. After 4 years of waiting, it's back. It does not seem like 4 years. I'm shocked. It's been 4 years since the last time they had that game in Dyersville. Following an extended refurbishment of one of America's most famous ball fields, the MLB at Field of Dreams game presented by John Deere returns for its third edition. So, if you remember the first one, it was the Yankees coming back. They were down 7-4. And Aaron Judge hit a homer. I think Giancarlo Stanton hit a homer. And then it was Tim Anderson with the walk-off Oppo Taco. Just an amazing game. So they had, one or two more after that. And then they shut it down. And they completely refurbished the entire thing. Now, it's not played on the original Field of Dreams set. That's not it. Now, that set is perfectly intact, but they built it adjacent to there. You know, a few years ago, Field of Dreams was actually for sale. I think it was right about the time when I went there in like 2018 and we rode our bikes there, and it was like $8 million. And immediately in my mind, I'm like, dude, why don't we fucking buy this thing? Seriously. I mean, if I had 8 million cash just lying around, yes, I would have been in on this. So there was a group that ended up getting it, refurbishing it, and now it seems to be, this will be an annual event. It says, will any Hall of Famers be at the game? Yes, more than 25 Hall of Famers are scheduled to walk through the cornfield and onto the diamond during the pregame ceremony. Among that group are luminaries who played for the Phillies and or Twins. Former Phillies who are scheduled to appear include Mike Schmidt, Steve Carlton, and Scott Rowland. The Twins will be represented by Joe Mauer, Rod Carew, Bert Blyleven, and Paul Molitor. Jim Thome and former colleague of mine, as Thome was, Jim Cott, who played for both clubs. That's right, Thome and Cott. Did Molitor? He didn't play for both clubs, did he? Thome and Cott certainly did. They're expected to take part in pregame festivities. You know what would be kind of cool is you take like a hologram of Kirby Puckett. Once again, double sky point here. Walking out of the cornfields to lead the way. That'd be fucking badass. All right. It says, will the teams be playing on the same field for the movie? Like I said, no. An 8,000 seat ballpark with typical major league dimensions, 335 down the lines, 380 feet to the alleys, and 400 dead center was constructed a quarter-mile west of the diamond of the movie. There's a pathway through the cornfields that leads to the ballpark and the right field wall with windows that show the surrounding 159 acres of corn. What happened in the previous Field of Dreams games, like I said, you had that first one, the 7-4 in the top of the ninth, and then you had the Judge and Stan back-to-back homers, followed with the Tim Anderson one. And then the other one they had, 2022, the Cubs defeated the Reds 4-2. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. I don't know what else we really get into, but that should be a fun one to watch tonight. All right, let's hit the Major League scores from yesterday. Let's see here. Twins beat the O's 7-5. Twins go to 60-62. Cardinals over the Phillies 7-1. The Cards are now a game above 500 as the Phils fall back. I think the Phillies, I got to look at it in a second, are damn near out of the playoffs right now, as the Padres and Diamondbacks have both gotten hot. The Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays, won their 9th consecutive game on the road. This is a team you just don't want to fuck with, man. They do it at home. They do it on the road. They're leading the American League East. Could this Rays team be a legit World Series contender? I mean, that's the question you got to ask yourself now. And the answer to that is fuck yeah, especially in the American League, where things seem to be a little bit wide open. Rockies 6-4 over the Diamondbacks yesterday. Astros beat the Giants 2-1. The Giants sort of had a new all-time low. They had a situation where they're in the 7th inning. They had a double play ball to Adames. Somehow he throws a fucking grenade over to second base. They don't turn the double play. And then there's a ball that's dropped in left field. It's bad news bear shit, man. It's really gotten ugly. Now, they only gave up 2 runs, but fuck. I mean, have some pride out there, boys. As far as the Astros are concerned, 62-60 now atop the American League West. And then the Padres, what a comeback again yesterday. 4-3 winners over the Brewers, so they sweep the team with the best record in all of baseball. The Guardians 6-4 over the Tigers. The Pirates go down to the Marlins. Marlins are 62-59, so they're still in playoff contention. Cubs stay hot, 12-6 winners over the Nationals. Alex Bregman, 3 homers yesterday. What a fucking day. 7 RBIs to go with that. Yankees 10-5 over the M's. Blue Jays 6-4 over the Red Sox. So as hot as the Red Sox were, they cooled off in a hurry. They lose 2 of 3 to the A's and then get swept by the Blue Jays. Just like that, they could be on the outside looking, and they're 64-56. The Braves 6-3 over the Mets. White Sox 5-0 over the Reds, and then Dodgers last night. Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts homer in their 4-2 win. The Angels 5-2 over the Rangers. Look for that name to go back to Anaheim Angels, by the way. If there's a sale of the team, I just read there's like a bill that passed. It's on Governor Newsom's desk. But basically saying, if there's anything happens with the Angels, Anaheim needs to be reinstated as the name, and I think rightfully so in that situation. All right, let's look at the standings. You got Tampa on top of the American League East. They're 74-46, so they have the same record as the Brewers. The Yankees are 6 games back. Boston, 10 games back. So it looks like Tampa's in very comfortable cruise control position right there. The White Sox, 62-57 atop the Central. The Twins at 60-62, 3.5 back, as are the Detroit Tigers. So both those teams still in contention for the Central. Houston at 62-60, a game and a half up on the Rangers, and who are, let's see here, they're a game and a half back, 60-61. Seattle's falling off a fucking cliff, man. They're done. Holy shit. 56-65. Horrific. I mean, especially you had all the promise and expectations from last season. This turned out being a dud of a year for the Mariners. Atlanta, 73-48, sits atop the NL East. The Phillies are 9.5 back at 64-58. Then you have Miami at 62-59, who's 11 back. Milwaukee, 74-47. So the best record in baseball right now actually goes to the Tampa Bay Rays at 74-46. Congratulations to the Rays. That's been well earned. How about the Cubs? 21 games over 500, 71-50. So they've all but solidified a playoff spot. And hey, they're still chasing that NL Central. Just 3 back of Milwaukee right now. You have St. Louis at 61-60. Then it's the Dodgers at 73-48. Even amongst all that losing that went down, they've won 3 in a row now. The Padres won 5 in a row. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're 65-57. The Diamondbacks 64-58, 9.5 back. But when you look at the wild card, this is what it looks like. In the American League, it's the Yankees, Boston, and Texas. No fucking way, man. Texas at 60-61. But look at all these teams who are in contention. You have the Twins, Detroit, Cleveland, Toronto, Baltimore, all within 2 games. Wild. And even Seattle, terrible as they've been, they're within 4 games. In the National League, way up, 7.5 up is the Cubs are in that front-running wild card position. Then it's the Padres. They're 1 up on Arizona. And Arizona is tied for that final spot with Philadelphia for that 3rd wild card spot. Then you have Miami and St. Louis, both within 2.5 games. Washington's fall off the cliff a bit. They're 5 back. So the NL wild card could end up being St. Louis, Miami, Philly, Arizona, and or San Diego. There's 2 spots for 1, 2, 3, 4 for 5 teams. There you go. The Cubs are going to make it. But then after that, it's either going to be San Diego, Arizona, Philly, Miami, or St. Louis. Cool to see Miami and St. Louis in the mix. All right, as far as action today is concerned, I mentioned the Twins and let's see here. You guys have today's Thursday. Where are we right here? We got the Field of Dreams game. Twins and Phillies. Sorry. Do this long enough, your fucking mind goes blank sometimes. Other than that, working backwards, you got the Dodgers and the Brewers going at it tonight from Dodger Stadium. Dodgers minus 138 in that. Rangers are at the Angels. Angels are plus 138. The Nationals plus 134 at home against the Cubs. Blue Jays at home plus 130 against the Red Sox. So I guess the sweep has not taken place yet, but they've lost their first 3 games. Yankees and Mariners going at it right now. It's 1-0 M's in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Pirates 2-0 over the Marlins right now. Let's see, the Pirates are 58 and 64. Yeah, they're not close. Huh. They fell off in a hurry. Paul Skeens really struggling. Hopefully he'll find his form back. He's good for baseball. Reds and White Sox are 4-4 currently right now in the top of the 4th inning. Sal Stewart. Holy shit. 26 homers for Sal Stewart. Good for him. And then the Tigers are 1-0 over the Guardians in Detroit. And we are going to the top of the 6th inning there. All right, everyone have a fantastic day. Enjoy the Field of Dreams game from Dyersville, Iowa, and would love to hear your guys' response to some of the best and worst baseball movies of all time. This conversation's evergreen, and I think one always worth revisiting. All right, thank you to our title sponsor, Car Shield. I'm going to play pickleball.